All right. Welcome back. Got a little bit bigger book, a little bit easier to read, hopefully. This is January 6th reading. We're going to be reading Genesis 13:5 through 15:21. So Genesis 13, verse 5 through chapter 15, verse 21. That's going to be our Genesis 1 or 3. So, 13, verse 5. Left off talking about Lot, I believe. Now, Lot, who was moving about with Abram, also had flocks and herds and tents, but the land could not support them while they stayed together, for their possessions were so great that they were not able to stay together. That makes sense. And quarreling arose between Abram's herders and Lot's. The Canaanites and the Perizzites were also living in the land at the time. Once again, I'm not fluent in this, so stick with me. We're doing our best. Boom! Let's keep going. So Abram said to Lot, let's not have any quarreling between you and me, or between your herders and mine, for we are close relatives. It is not the whole land before you. Let's part company. If you go to the left, I'll go to the right. And if you go to the right, I'll go to the left. Lot looked around and saw that the whole plain of the Jordan toward Zoar was well watered like the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt. This was before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. So Lot chose for himself the whole plain of the Jordan and set out toward the east. The two men parted company. Abram lived in the land of Canaan, while Lot lived among the cities of the plain and pitched his tents near Sodom. Now the people of Sodom were wicked and were sinning greatly against the Lord. The Lord said to Abram, after Lot had parted from him, look around from where you are, to the north and the south, to the east and the west. All the land that you see I will give to you and your offspring forever. I will make your offspring like the dust of the earth, so that if anyone could count the dust, then your offspring could be counted. Go walk through the length and the breadth of the land, for I am giving it to you. So Abram went to live near the great trees of Mamre at Hebron, where he pitched his tents. There he built an altar to the Lord. Abram rescues Lot. At the time when Amraphel was the king of Shinar, Arioch, king of Elasar, Kedorlaomer, king of Elam, and Tidal, king of Goyim. These kings went to war against Bera, king of Sodom, Bersha, king of Gomorrah, Shinab, king of Adam, Shemember, king of Zeboiim, and the king of Bela, that is Zor. All these later kings joined forces in the valley of Siddim, that is the Dead Valley Sea. For 12 years they had been subject to Kedorlaomer. Kedorlaomer. I don't know. Correct me. But in the 13th year they rebelled. In the 14th year, Kedorlaomer and all the kings allied with him went out and defeated the Rephites in Asheroth, Karnaim, the Zutzites in Ham, the Ammonites in Shavah, Karathaim, and the Horites in the hill country of Seir, as far as El Paran near the desert. Then they turned back and went to En Mishpat and Mishpat. This is Kadesh. And they conquered the whole territory of the Amalekites as well as the Amalekites as well as the Amorites, who were living in Harazon Tamar. The king of Sodom, the king of Gomorrah, the king of Adam, the king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela marched out and drew up their battle lines in the valley of Siddim against Kedorlaomer, king of Elam, Tidal, king of Goyim, Amraphel, king of Shinar, Arioch, king of Elasar, 4 kings against 5. Now the valley of Siddim was full of tar pits. When the king of Sodom saw Sodom and Gomorrah fled, some of the men fell into them, and the rest fled to the hills. The 4 kings seized all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah and all their food, and they went away. They also carried off Abram's nephew Lot and his possessions, since he was living in Sodom. A man who had escaped came and reported this to Abram the Hebrew. Now Abram was living near the great trees of Mamre the Amorite, a brother of Eshcol and Aner, all whom were allied with Abram. When Abram heard that his relative had been taken captive, he had called out the 318 trained men born in his household and went in pursuit as far as Dan. During the night, Abram divided his men to attack them, and he routed them, pursuing them as far as Hobah, north of Damascus. He recovered all the goods and brought back his relative Lot and his possessions, together with the women and the other people. After Abram returned from defeating Kedorlaomer and the king allied with him, the king of Sodom came out to meet him in the valley of Shaveh. The Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread and wine. He was priest of God Most High, and he blessed Abram, saying, "Blessed be Abram by God Most High, creator of heaven and earth, and praise be to God Most High, who delivered your enemies into your hand." Then Abram gave him a tenth of everything. The king of Sodom said to Abram, "Give me the people and keep the goods for yourself." But Abram said to the king of Sodom, with raised hand, I have sworn an oath to Lord God Most High, creator heaven and earth, that I will accept nothing belonging to you, not even, too far, not even a thread or a strap of a sandal, so that you will never be able to say, I made Abram rich. I will accept nothing but what my men have eaten, and the share that belongs to the men who went with me. To Anar, Eshcol, and Mamre, let them have their share. Chapter 15, the Lord's covenant with Abram. After this, the word of the Lord came to Abram in a vision. Do not be afraid, Abram. I am your shield. You are very great reward. Your very great reward. But Abram said, Sovereign Lord, what can you give me, since I remain childless, and the one who will inherit my estates, Elazar or Damascus? Abram said, You have given me no children, so a servant in my household will be my heir. Then the word of the Lord came to him. This man will not be your heir, but a son who is your own flesh and blood will be your heir. He took him outside and said, Look at the sky and count the stars. If indeed you can't count them, then he said, so shall your offspring be. Abram believed the Lord, and he credited to him as righteous. He also said to him, I am the Lord who brought you out of Ur, of the Chaldeans, to give you this land to take possession of it. But Abram said, Sovereign Lord, how can I know that I will gain possession of it? So the Lord said to him, Bring me a heifer, a goat, and a ram, each 3 years old, along with a dove and a young pigeon. Abram brought all these to him, cut them in two, and arranged the halves opposite each other. The birds, however, did not cut in half. And the birds of prey came down to carcass, but Abram drove them away. As the sun was setting, Abram fell into a deep sleep, and a thick and dreadful darkness came over him. And the Lord said to him, Know for certain that the 400 years of descendants will be strangers in a country not their own, and then they will be enslaved and mistreated there. But I will punish the nation they serve as slaves, and after they will come out with great possessions. You, however, will go to your ancestors in peace and be buried at a good old age. In the 4th generation, your descendants will come back here The sin of the Amorites has not yet reached full measure. Then the sun had set and darkness had fallen. A smoking fire pot with a blazing torch appeared and passed between the pieces. On that day the Lord made a covenant with Abram and said, to the descendants, I give this land from the Wadi of Egypt to the great river of Euphrates, the land of the Canaanites, Kenites, Kadmonites, Hittites, Perizzites, Rephaites, Amorites, Canaanites, Girgashites, and Jebusites. All right. So that was our Genesis reading for today. It would be the 6th. We're going to jump into Matthew next. Take you a second to find that. We're going to read Matthew chapter 5, verse 27 through 48. So go ahead and flip to that. If you're just listening, give them a second. All right. You have heard this that was said, you shall not commit adultery. But I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart. If your right eye causes you to stumble, gouge it out and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to be thrown into hell. And if your right hand causes you to stumble, cut it off and throw it away. If it is better for you to lose one part of your body than for the whole body to go into hell. Divorce. It has been said, anyone who divorces his wife must give her a certificate of divorce. But I tell you that anyone who divorces his wife, except for sexual immoralities, makes her the victim of adultery, and anyone who marries a divorced woman commits adultery. Oaths. Again, you have heard that it was said to the people long ago, do not break your oath, but fulfill it to the Lord, the vows you have made. But I tell you, do not swear an oath at all, either by heaven, for it is God's throne, or by earth, for it is his footstool, or by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. And do not swear by your head, for you cannot make even one hair white or black. All you need to say is simply yes or no. Anything beyond this comes from the evil one. Eye for an eye. You have heard that it was said, eye for an eye and tooth for a tooth. But I tell you, do not resist an evil person. If anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn them to the other cheek also. And if anyone wants to sue you and take your shirt, hand over your coat as well. If anyone forces you to go 1 mile, go with them 2 miles. Give to the one who asks you, and do not turn away from the one who wants to borrow from you. Love your enemies. You have heard this, it was said, love your neighbors and hate your enemy. But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, that you may have that you may be children of your Father in heaven. He causes his sun to rise on the evil and the good, and seeds rain on the righteous of the unrighteous. If you love those who love you, what reward will you get? And not even the tax collectors doing that. If you greet only your own people, what are you doing more than others? Do not even pagans do that? Be perfect, therefore, as your heavenly Father is perfect. That was our Matthew reading today. Now we're going to jump on over to Psalms. We're going to read Psalm 6 for January 6th. So we're in Psalms. Give you a second. All right. There we go. Lord, do not rebuke me in your anger, or discipline me in your wrath. Have mercy on me, Lord, for I am faint. Heal me, Lord, for my bones are in agony. My soul is in deep anguish. How long, Lord? How long? Turn, Lord, and deliver me. Save me because of your unfailing love. Among the dead, no one proclaims your name. Your praises from the grave. I am worn out from my groaning. All night long I flood my bed with weeping and drench my couch with tears. My eyes grow weak with sorrow. They fail because of all my foes. Away from me, all who do evil, for the Lord has heard my weeping. The Lord has heard my cry for mercy. The Lord accepts my prayer. All enemies will be overwhelmed with shame and anguish. They will turn back and suddenly put to shame. That was pretty good. I like that one. And all right, next we're going to jump into Proverbs. Proverbs 1. We're going to go 28 through, double check here, through 33. So Proverbs chapter 1, 28 through 33. Here we go. Then they call to me, but I will not answer. They will look for me, but I will not find me. Since they hated knowledge and did not choose to fear the Lord, since they did not accept my advice and spurned in my rebuke. They will eat the fruit of their ways. They'll be fulfilled with the fruit of their schemes. For the waywardness of the simple will kill them, and the complacency of fools will destroy them. But whoever listens to me will live in safety and be at ease without a fear of harm. All right, so that's our Proverbs. And once again, thanks for joining me. Appreciate it. We'll see you on the next one. It's again January 6th.